Welcome to the latest edition, everybody. Let's take a look at tomorrow's front pages. The Daily Mail. You're barred, Rachel. Rachel Reeves has been banned even from her local pub in her Leeds constituency over tax rises in the budget. The Telegraph. Motorists face new parking space ban. The Sunday Times. Spies invasion fear as Beijing buys up homes across London. The Express. Shops face last Christmas as recession fear grows. The Observer. I wonder why anyone would want to be Prime Minister. That's an interview with the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting. The Independent. The Britain sentenced to death for fighting Putin, who lived to fight again. And the Mirror. George's visit to die homeless shelter. And The Sun. Josser death threats. A report about EastEnders star Jacqueline Josser being sent menacing messages online. Right, well, let's get the thoughts of my panel. Former Conservative advisor Lauren McKevitt, GB News contributor and comedian Leo Kurtz, and GB News contributor and comedian Stephen and Alan. Can you two get your own job titles, please? It's getting ridiculous, isn't it? Shall we start with our best friend, Rachel Reeves? She loves this show. I'm sure she watches every week. She's been barred, Leo, from her pub. From a pub, and yeah, with the rate that pubs are closing, there aren't that many other pubs for her to go to. That's a good point. So yeah, this is a bit of humbug. It seems to be a sort of recurring theme, like left-wing politicians getting barred from pubs. When Keir Starmer barred from that pub famously, it makes you wonder who, like as Wes Streeting says, who would want to be a politician when you can't even go and drown your sorrows with a cheeky half. Although, I mean, the state of going to the pub these days, it's like about 17 quid for a pint. It's ridiculous. So it might actually help her balance the budget. yeah. These poor pubs, though. This bloke here, if you've got the front page of the Mail up on your screen, you can see it here. This is publican Martin Knowles. He is on the bottom left of your screen, if you can just about make that out, alongside the Chancellor with her famous bob haircut there. Steve... I don't blame people stopping politicians, because I think people have got to the point now where they're like, they're not listening to us screaming and shouting at them, protesting outside Westminster. They're not listening to us. There's no elections going ahead, so they can't be held accountable there. We might as well just ban them from the local pub.
You might as well. I mean, it's your business. You should be allowed to ban whomever you want, but also it's not going to impact your business, because not only, I'm guessing, people in the Labour Party don't drink that much. Look at them. They're not like having a crazy night out. Did Keir Starmer get in trouble for like one beer when he was during lockdown? Like, Boris had parties. He had a beer after a curry
party, wasn't it?
Beer and curry. Always pushing the boat out there.
Yeah.
Plus,
the state of some of their policies, I think they're smoking like DMT or something.
Yeah, it's not that alcohol would really leveled them out, wouldn't it? Also,
puts Boris's Christmas parties to shame, doesn't it? They would parties to shame.
Well, they wouldn't go in there.
You can't even bring booze into the office. So
good point. Go on.
You're going to say they wouldn't be going in anyway. Like, the Labour Party must know how unpopular they are with landlords. If you go to a pub, you're drinking spit. There's no way you're not going to have an untainted pint. You think, is this a cask ale? Because it seems weirdly flat on the top, and it's because everyone in the kitchen's all had a go at it. So there's no way they're going anyway.
Yeah, is this the right form of protest, Lauren? Do you think this?
I think so, and I think the private sector has every right to make a decision over who it serves. I've always felt that, and this is part of as I understand, a wider campaign against Labour politicians more broadly. It started out in Dorset, I think, with a local Labour MP being barred by Dorset pubs and hospitality venues, because, as UK Hospitality has pointed out, they are getting slammed as an industry by national insurance contributions, by the minimum wage going up, by energy costs, by business rates going up and being readjusted. And there's absolutely no good news for the hospitality sector.
There isn't.
And the downside from that is you lose community spaces. These places go out of business. So why should Labour politicians, who are the reason why these community spaces are now going to go out of business, why should they be allowed in those community spaces to begin with?
Can I just ask a question on that, though? If you're in favour of businesses being able to ban whoever they want, so you're in favour of Nigel Farage being debanked, I'll tell him next time he's in.
So Nigel Farage being debanked is I find that a really, really interesting problem, because this is part of a much wider sort of move within the banking industry around politically exposed persons, and the widest possible number of people who are politically exposed persons are now subject to weird banking rules, and part of this is a group of banks that have decided that they don't want the paperwork burden of these particular individuals. So there are banks who are not struggling with it, And there are banks that are struggling with it and have basically taken a decision that they would like to no longer have to do this paperwork anymore. But this is largely thanks to FATCA and FATF in the United States and MiFID and various rules that have been introduced in the European Union. And the debanking thing is a much wider problem than just Nigel Farage.
So, I mean, it's a really interesting debate, isn't it? Because it does beg the question, at what point do we decide actually enough is enough? I mean, I think it's quite funny that she's been barred from her local pub. I think it's really funny when I watched Keir Starmer get booted out of a pub during COVID. I thought it was hilarious personally, but obviously many people will disagree. I'm sure the Prime Minister didn't like it very much. It feels to me like there might be a slight vendetta against pubs, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way the government, not just this government, the Tory government as well, has treated the people who really sort of are the lifeblood of the country, like farmers. Like for Labour to come in and suddenly say to farmers, sorry, we're gonna do a sort of Cambodian-style communist appropriation of your property because we want to give it to BlackRock to run it better. They're going to run it in the interest of the British people better than you, who's been running it since the Doomsday Book.
I think it's Blackstone they're worried about rather than BlackRock.
Whatever it's one of the two of them, yeah. But
Stone Rock, they're very similar.
Blackstone Rock. Yeah. It's the same company, really, isn't it?
The Black Eyed Peas. I hear the Black Eyed Peas are owning a lot of farms.
Have you seen the chart, which is Blackstone is this, Firestone is this, Blackstone is BlackRock?
No, I need to see that one.
There's like a graphic that explains what all the different Fire, Blackstone, Rock things are.
Whatever, it's some kind of tyre company. But yeah, I also think, cancel culture, when it comes for people I don't like, I find it wonderful. But then I'm like, is this a bad precedent that we're setting? Like, I don't want to be barred from pubs, because I don't really want to go to pubs anymore because of the aforementioned £17 a pint issue. But yeah, I mean, when I've been cancelled from venues, it's really hurt me financially. Cancelled from performing at them. And
the ironic thing about that is this will save Rachel Reeves a lot of money.
Yeah.
So when you're losing the money, she's going, I'll just save that, I'll pocket that. But look, because I want to move us on to the next one here, Leo, as well. Shops in the Sunday Express front page here saying they face their last Christmas as recession fears are growing. Make or break for high streets after bruising Labour budgets. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's the same thing, basically.
But don't we get this? They just cut and paste this headline every year. This comes out at this time every single year. Oh, the high street is facing ruin.
This is like Labour politicians saying you've got 48 hours to save the NHS. 48 hours to save the NHS about 17 times in the last year alone.
It's crisis.
It's like a Russian red line in the Ukraine war. It's like, if you do that, we're going to use nukes. It's like, no, you're not. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, but there are some issues facing consumer spending. So much of sort of consumer sentiment and our feeling of wealth is tied up in the stock market now because so many people are investors either in stocks and shares or in Bitcoin or whatever.
Well, and everything the Treasury is doing is trying to force more people to be that way by changing ISAs, by changing pensions and the Mansion House Accords with 5% going into the markets instead. They are actively trying to push further in that direction.
So then if you have a stock market correction, then people feel poorer, so they don't go out and spend, and then it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
But I think that there have been things that have happened this year that people should be happier about on the high street. Bear in mind that people's shopping habits have been altering over the course of the last 15 years in ways that the high street has never been able to keep up with. But one of the things that the high street has had going for it recently is that the government are, as I remember, changing the rules on de minimis taxation. So the amount that you can bring into this country that was previously under the taxation burden, which was helping dropshipping companies like Temu and Shein to really, abuse the system in the United Kingdom, that there has been a rectification of that. So that may push people back towards the high street in ways that might improve high street fortunes in the next year or so.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. But I think you mentioning it, the government trying to push people to invest more, there's a looming. It does feel like a recession is finally looming, but actually this could be what they want, isn't it? Really, because this will really then plummet interest rates, wouldn't it?
That's worse. Yeah, let's get that market crash.
We're all poor, but interest rates have come down, but you still can't.
Exactly, relative poverty's gone down because everybody's broke.
Exactly.
But the headline kind of confused me because it says shops face last Christmas, and I thought this was going to be you won't be like Christmas next year. We'll be doing other festivals, but it's not. They then go on to the recession, which is good news. Not good news. No, it's exactly. We are all feeling poor, whether we know it we're poor or not. The problem was it was such a slap across the face of a budget done in autumn. This is a good reason to go back to doing it in spring, so you've got longer to realise how poor you are before Christmas comes around. Even if they do change the Temu thing, it just means people go, I'll go back on Amazon then. I think there's a few steps before anyone bothers to go back to the high street.
Yeah.
But I do think that the way that we plan for high streets, I think, has got to alter. People aren't using them in the same way that they used to. It's just harking back to the way it used to be doesn't mean that we can ever get that back again. I think we need to alter how we plan for high streets in different ways, and I don't think that we've actually grappled with the planning system for that yet.
There is that. The high streets are basically betting shops and vapories, and that's not what you. No one ever goes like, "Oh, we had a delightful weekend at artisanal vapories." That's not what you want.
We need to plan for the future and make every second shop a mosque.
But also, people complain about like, there's only nail salons on the high street. I'm sorry, if someone's going into a nail salon, they are spending money in their local economy on a high street in a way that no one else
It's drug money being laundered through them, and this is what infuriates me.
I think that's the vape shops rather than my local.
No, vape shops, nail salons. Certainly in South London, the nail salons are doing it as well, and the Turkish barbers are as well. But what infuriates me is you go in and it's still 25 quid for a haircut. Like, I'm sure 20 years ago I was paying like a £5 for a haircut.
But at least it's male privilege. You're only paying 25 quid for a haircut.
How come it's being subsidised by Turkish heroin smugglers, and I'm still paying more? Surely I paid for it when I bought my heroin.
You know what's really funny is in my local, I won't say where it is, but my local Turkish barber, they say to me, if you pay in cash, you get a discount as well. So it's like, there's
Excellent.
a little
They've
bit...
got a VAT wheeze too.
Yes, that's right.
They've got a VAT wheeze too.
Interestingly, here though, Dave has a good idea, Steve. He says this, Dave Brent, one of you got that name, great name, Labour MPs in pubs. It would be really funny to allow the MP in your pub then add additional employers' national insurance to the bill, i.e. 2 prawn cocktails, 15 quid, times 2 steaks, 50 quid, 3 bottles of wine, 105, and 1 champagne, because they would be drinking champagne socialists, aren't they? It is Labour after all. 1 annual national insurance increase, £675 plus optional service charge.
There was some there was some chef who did the maths the other day that said that if he wanted to hire a dishwasher on 23,000, that whole salary cost him 45 grand now if you included the pension contributions and the pension contributions, the national insurance contributions, the uplift to the minimum wage, that basically that salary bracket now cost the employer up to about 45 grand to employ that person, which is wild when you think about it.
And if you think somebody could come in on a contract, would probably be much happier to take 45 grand as a contractor.
Well, they can't do that anymore.
But they can't do that.
They just got banned in the employee rights bill.
Yeah, they can't do that anymore.
Paper plates, that'll be cheaper.
Well, listen, we'll be talking about more inventive ways to ban Labour MPs from doing certain activities very shortly, but now it's time for the Great British Giveaway. It's your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. It's an incredible 85 grand. And Hayley Sparks has been on a very magical trip and very